So back to vessel work. If you are here, you are probably a holistic hottie, right? So go ahead and check out Mary and the Unigod podcast, because this specific moment is actually thanks to the last guest on my podcast, Carolyn Michelle Smith. She got me all the way together, right? So without her, this moment wouldn't have happened. And I feel the need to share this moment because the way our ancestors communicate with us is different, regardless of who your ancestors are, how they choose to come to you, where they choose to sit. It's so interesting. Okay, so I just want to hop into it. I think it's very important to share this because I don't know how your ancestors might communicate with you. And if it's in a similar way, maybe it'll be a moment of understanding for both of us, right? So it was a moment for me, and I hope that it can somehow impact your journey positively, right? So Carolyn, on the last episode of the podcast, she mentioned that basically before you do certain things, you need to cover your altar. If you have an ancestor altar, if you have some type of altar with your ancestors on it or any spiritual entity, you want to cover it. You want to turn them around something so that you respect them. Like you don't do certain things in front of them. So one night I'm getting ready for bed. I blow out my candle. I'm like, all right, let me go lay down. I'm laying in bed. I'm thinking, I'm feeling. I'm like, self-care time. So then I get up and I'm like, Granny's ash. I have this necklace with my granny's ashes in them. And it sits usually in the front of the altar, like in the middle. And so I was like, let me put her behind the painting today. And so I have this painting on my altar that I painted of like a woman looking into her vision. The vision is pretty much blank, but it's so that you can see the infinite opportunities. Anyway, so I leave that there. And so when I blow out the candle, the tip of the candle, the little ember on the tip was still lit, still orange. And so when I put Granny in the necklace behind the painting, and I said with intention, like, Granny, this is out of respect for you. And I put her behind it and put the painting back. So I pulled the painting up a little bit, put her down, and put the painting back. Y'all, as soon, I'm literally looking at the space so I can remember the moment. As soon as I put that painting to the glass, to the window, the ember of the candle went out, completely out, and you know that moment. If you have candles and you see that moment happen, sometimes it stays lit and sometimes it just goes away, and I waited. The next time I blew out that candle, I was like, how long do you usually wait? And literally I blew the candle out, went back to my bed, had that realization, then went back. So I did a lot before that ember went out. And so when that ember went out, I literally just stood in front of it for the longest. And I was just like, the longest was probably a minute, but y'all, it was late. I was late, you got things to do late, you try and get your sleep. So I just stood there and I was like, wow. I was like, I heard you, Granny. I heard you. And I was just kind of grateful because I'm not gonna lie, I ran from ancestor work for the longest. And I remember being I remember always saying that she came to me as a butterfly because butterflies get really close to me. And I would be like, oh, and literally the other day, y'all, okay, I'm gonna save that for another video because there are just so many instances that happen and there's just moments of realization. And I remember telling my grandmother about it because that's her mother in the necklace. And so I was like, yo, grandma, this happened. And I thought she was going to be weirded out, but she literally was just like, thank you. Thank you. Okay. And then she came in and asked me where was Granny at? What happened? She was like, my mother always loved being near the window. She always loved being near a window. And I was just like, wow. So yeah. Bless on your ancestors. Do your part in the collective. Share what's on your heart. Share what's in your spirit. Because if we keep it in, what's the point of having it, There are certain things you keep to yourself because it's sacred. I understand that. I understand. But there are some things that can help us on our journey. And so that's why I even have a podcast, because there's so many conversations I have on a daily basis like this. And we're always talking and we're always growing together. And I want everyone to have that experience. I want everyone to sit on the couch and in the room and, you know, be cooking dinner while you're talking to us, or while you're listening and, you know, having certain spiritual experiences for yourself. So yeah, listen out for your ancestors. You never know how they'll speak. But yeah, remember them, honor them. And so maybe when we go forth, we teach the children how to honor their ancestors, so that when we're gone, they're honoring us, they're talking to us, we're allowed to communicate, they're not afraid of us. Like, we're gonna be good. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and let's do this. We in this together. Bye.
Oh my God.